10, that is 200. Now what is function declaration? So before coming to function declaration, I think you all are familiar with how a variable is declared. So whenever we declare a variable, we actually declare the properties of that variable to the compiler. Say for example, here we are declaring a variable int var. So what are the properties from this statement? We can see the first property is name of the variable, that is this is called the variable name, and the type of the variable is int, or you can say as integer. That means this variable with name var can store only integer value. It cannot store any decimal value, it cannot store any character value. Okay, so these are the properties of this variable. So similarly, when you declare a function, there also we tell the compiler about the properties of that particular function. So see here, declaring a function is also called as function prototype. Whenever you declare a function, that is also called as function prototype. So see here, example, int fun, int within brackets, int comma int. Then after that we have ended it with a semicolon. This means function declaration. This is not definition. This is function declaration. That means we are declaring the function to the compiler. It is also called as function prototype. Now whenever you declare this function, what are the properties you are telling the compiler? So the first property is the name of the function. So see here, fun is the name of the function. Next property is return type of the function. So what kind of data it will be returning, or what kind of value the function will be returning, that is called the return type. So see here, int is here, that's why int is the return type of the function. That means it can return only integer value. It cannot return any decimal value, it cannot return any character value, or it cannot return any void statement. So it must have a return type. Next, the number of parameters. So see here, these are called the, whatever you write inside this parenthesis plus bracket, these are called the parameters. So parameter list actually. So these here, how many parameters have you declared? See, I have written int 2 times. That means this function will take 2 parameters at a time. So the number of parameter is 2. And what are the type of parameters? That is integer. The first parameter is of integer type, and the second parameter is also of integer type. That means whenever you declaring this function, these parameters are of integer type. Next, now some important question regarding function. The first question, is it necessary to write the parameter name in the function prototype? That means whenever you are declaring the function, it is not necessary that you have to write the name of the parameters. That means, say for example, int A, int B, A and B are the name of the parameters. It is not necessary that you have to write int A, int B. You can simply write int comma int. Okay, so int function, see here example, int var1 comma char var2. So here what are the type of data we are passing? One is of integer type, one is of character type. Now it is not necessary that we have to write var1 comma and var2. You can simply omit this part as well. That means the naming part of the variable, you can simply omit that. So, and the second is it always necessary to declare the function before using it? It is also not necessary. Whenever you are using a function, it is not always necessary to declare the function before using it. But it is always preferable that you declare the function before using it, because you may get an error, which I will be telling you in the later part. That means a compilation error. Whenever you compile the code, you may get some error that I will be discussing in the later slides. So here what are we doing? Int fun, then we are passing parameters. One is of integer type, another one is of character type. So this is called the function prototype. Here we are defining the function. That means int fun. So this is called int var1, and here we are writing the body. So see here, there are two different parameters. One is of type integer, another one is of type character. Okay, and see, since this is the body of the function, that means we are defining the function here. So in the function definition, it is always compulsory to write the name of those parameters. You can simply omit here. Whenever you are declaring, you can omit the names. But whenever you are defining the function, you must give the name of those parameters. So a function definition. It consists of a block of code which is capable of performing some specific task. So see here, I have written one block of code. Int add, that means this function is actually adding two numbers. Int add, here I have taken two parameters. One is of type integer, one is integer a and integer b. And what is the type of what this function is actually doing? This function is actually calculating the sum of a and b. So I have declared one variable called sum. And why I have declared sum as integer? Because a and b will give a, see here, parameter a and parameter b are of integer type. So when you add to integer, the resultant you get is always another integer. So you have to store the result, right, somewhere. So I am storing the result in the sum variable. So sum variable must be of integer type. So I have in the second line what I have written, sum is equal to a plus b. That means after addition, whatever the value I am getting, that has been stored in the variable sum. After that, I am returning the value of sum to the int add function. Now, how a function works? See, here this is a piece of code.